Right, in this video I would like to just talk to you about reality one more time, okay? How are you doing? Pardon me, excuse me there. That's coffee for you. There's a little book I really love, and the name of the book is called the Tao Te Ching. Right? It's written by a man called Lao Tzu, right? Ancient Chinese philosopher of wisdom, a man full of wisdom. Right? Lao Tzu was a very wise man, very intelligent man, and he spoke of this philosophy called the Tao. Tao, right? D-A-O in spelling. Now, it talks about that everything has two sides. You must have seen a yin-yang symbol before. There's yin and yang, right? In Mandarin, it's called yin and yang. You have to say that. There's two sides to everything, right? Two sides to every motherfucking thing in this world, right? If you don't have one side, you can't have the other side. It's a bit like a cake. You can't have the top of the cake without the bottom of the cake. You can't have the inside without the outside. It wouldn't make any sense, right, of anything. There's always two sides to everything, right? Dark, light, front, back. You get the idea, right? I'm making some coffee while I'm talking to you. So listen, basically, this man wrote the book. Don't get confused. This is not a philosophy. This is not a tradition. It's not an ancient philosophy. It's not some Chinese, whatever. It's not, because he was a Chinese man. It was ancient China. It was ancient, When we're talking about from the thoughts, it's a philosophy, right? But it's not philosophy. It's not culture. It's not tradition. It's none of those things. It's not strictly a certain, country or whatever. And it's not any of those things, okay? It's not just a book that he made this book, this man wrote a book. It's not his ideas and, someone telling you what they think, their angle. It's not personality, nothing. It's just the truth as is. Not truth as like any idea at all, any thinking. Just truth. Like, if there were no people in the world, in the universe, right? If this planet was here, right, still, the planet would still be here, Earth. Yeah? If there were no animals on it, no people, what I'm saying? There's just trees and rocks and sea and space and stars and the moon, the sun, planet. The truth of the universe. Everything that makes up your body, like every atom and cell in your body, everything that's here. The air you're breathing, the air. The truth is the truth. Yeah, it's not Donald Trump's truth, or I don't know, LeBron James's truth. It's not someone's truth or some country's truth, like a flag or like money or like a symbol. Things we see in society, inventions, good or bad, computers and tech, internet, and then guns and bombs. It's not that technology to help doctors perform life-saving surgery, etc. Artwork. It's got nothing to do with any of this. It's not an artistic poetry and philosophy. It's not that at all. It's not that. If you leave a knife on the table, then you're not cutting any food with your knife. The knife is just literally a knife, or this pair of scissors. Like, this is a pair of scissors, whether I use it or not, right? I leave it here, it's still a pair of scissors. But is it really? That's how we visualize it. It's shapes of metal with the plastic here. This is just a thing. You know what I mean? So, similarly with yourself. You may think that you're the mayor or the governor or whatever the hell you think you are in your uniform and etc., etc. Really, you're just a human being here. An organism. Forget the persona, forget the role you're playing in society. The truth is the truth, and it speaks for itself without any words. Silence is sometimes the best. Lao Tzu, the wise man Lao Tzu said, one word could be too much. One word, it can be too much or too less. Always. Because you go into one direction. You go too much in this way or too much in that way. Too much in, out, whatever, too far, I should say, from you. Can you go too far within? I don't know. It's like far. If you're far from the truth, you're wrong. You're far from the center. the one, the balance, the harmonious, the connection with all the universe, because everything exists in connection. That's the way nature works. The sun making things grow, etc., etc. The way the world was created with the forces of the universe, for then living beings to come, and then how you came, and everything works together. So all of the organs in your body, the bones, everything, good soil, good trees and plants with good fruit for animals to eat. Excuse me. You got like insects and things that also do their good somewhat in the earth, supposedly. But anyway, I'm just saying, right? But the thing is, I'm just saying, like, so everything's connected, but the one is the one. When you break things up, it's the two, it's broken. But this one is made of two forces, which is yin and yang, to make it flow, meaning it can healthily be, meaning it doesn't go rigid and die. See? Life is movement. Time is moving, your body's moving, it's liquid like water, so you've got blood in your body. Everything is moving and changing, and it must be able to, otherwise it will become so solid it will just crack. And shatter, right? Okay, so yeah, so that's basically what I'm trying to say to you there, okay? That is what I'm basically saying to you there. So the Tao itself, excuse me, I've got a bad cough. Clear my throat. Not a bad cough, but just I've got a bit groggy in the morning when I wake up. It's a bit chesty. So anyway, so everything is made up of the forces of yin and yang. You can't have one side without the other. You say, well, how can't you? You can have right and not wrong, yes? Well, yeah, but what's the right? Like, there's two sides to that right. Now, wrong means it's not right, meaning it's not true. You only have truth and not true, see? You only have or don't have. That's what we're saying. So something that we have, we can study all aspects of it, right? But there are two sides to this thing. Unless you say there's having and not having are two sides, obviously too, but the having, the thing what we have, has two sides we can study. The thing that we don't have has two sides that we cannot study, if you want to say that. It doesn't exist, it's not real. Now, this is a phenomenon, an interesting phenomenon. Everything, has these aspects, front and back, left and right. A lot, inside, outside, whatever. You can look at these, okay, top, bottom, near, far, whatever. You can study the Tao, yin and yang, in everything. You can see it just in your life. Understand yourself more. It's not about understanding human society, a systematic social construct of brainwashing, like the world you live in, trying to earn money to survive from people just so you can drink water. That's pure evil. That's pure evil. I'm not religious, but I believe that when God and Jesus, apparently in the Bible, supposedly said, if a man doesn't work, a man can't eat. He didn't mean like that. Follow the ways of Satan, follow the serpent who lied to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. If you know about the Bible, I'm not religious, I'm just saying. But truth, the truth sets you free, he said. So when God was talking about that, he wasn't saying like, I don't believe, go against, basically follow all the sins, go against the 10 commandments, things like thou shalt not lie, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. Well, lying, killing and stealing is what the devil's all about. And that's what you're trying to follow a society like that, telling yourself that people have the right to decide whether you live or not. You have to earn a living, and you're a lazy bastard if you don't clean their shoes and get a certain wage, bit of money for each hour of each day, exhausting yourself, regardless of your differences and individual uniqueness as a human being, regardless of you being created in the image of God. You're putting your life in someone's hands. It's like you following the devil. Instead, when they supposedly say that God decides when it's your time's up. So they're stealing from you. They're trying to kill you. They're trying to rob you. Stealing it, all that, your time, your life. There's no respect for it. And lying, deceitful, like the devil, like the serpent when he said to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. You see? So the truth is the truth, whether you look at it either way, whether it's from the Bible, whether you look at it from the Tao, like I'm talking about the Tao Te Ching, for example, Jesus said something about the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. See, which is also again yin and yang. See, two sides. And even in science, they say the whole universe has got two forces to it. I did a discussion with AI the other day about this. We can go more into that. So it's an expanding and a contracting, you know. Okay. Now, we see things based on what we think, trying to paint things, and we live in our illusion. Lying, going against nature and going against what's actually true. It's okay to be artistic. It's okay to have your unique abilities, I believe. I don't believe it's idol worshipping just because you create art. Some people believe that any forms of art and things that don't, align with God, etc., is you being idol worshipping and going against and worshipping art. We're not doing that. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think it's okay to be having a style. Like if you're artistic about things, if you value human life and value life as it is in nature, truth, God, whatever is true, then you're going with the truth. If you go with the truth, you can't go wrong. The truth sets you free, right? And the light shines through the darkness very easily. They say coldness in space is the absence of heat, right? Or coldness basically is the absence of heat. That's what it is. It doesn't really exist. So yeah, okay. But heat also only exists when it does, like your lifetime. It exists while it's here, like a candle, like the suns that don't live and die. But the thing is, right, while you're here, you make the most of it, make the use of it, you know. So anyway, we have concept, we have perceptions and the way we look at things, perspective of the world. We look into the world and we see things right, wrong, good, bad, success, failure, even rich and poor, even in different aspects of life, being rich, so to speak, or poor, so to speak, better off, worse off, doing well or not so well. Now, they can be illusionary, satisfactory or not satisfactory. These things are human ideas, and a lot of things, even when you look at things, so they're just in our mind. Sometimes, if you look at, if we look at, let's say, anything, okay, a rock, for example, okay. Let's imagine we look at a rock or even a piece of fruit. Sometimes you may not be able to tell what's the top or what's the bottom. It doesn't have a top and a bottom. Or let's say inside and outside, maybe not, but it's like how we see things is, again, we're looking for that top, that bottom, the same way as where people may envision gods in their mind to look like earthly beings. Put it that way. Or looking for water on the moon or on Mars. Looking for the flying spaghetti monster in space, if you've heard of it. Looking for, aliens that have amazing technology, because we have it on this earth, so we imagine that they would have a more advanced technology to travel so far. How many eyes would they have? How many arms and legs would they have? What would their skin be like? These are questions because we see these things on the planet Earth. So we imagine that they would be like that in space, you see? We imagine they may look like giant bugs, or they might look like human in some way. They might look like something we've seen, a plant or an animal, a sea creature. Because, you see what I'm saying? We put our attributes, the things that we understand, Like we eat food, so you might think, oh, I wonder what aliens eat. No, maybe they don't eat food. You see what I'm saying? So you see a lot of sci-fi movies and things throughout the years that see that. So people look at the world with their own mind, their own ideas about it. They're making it up. Lao Tzu was not making it up. He was basically saying nothing. Like he's got this book. It's a small book, right? The Dao De Jing. I like it. Now this book, of course, is talking about your life. It's giving you examples of what would be a good way to see things in your life, in society. It's timeless. It's not just for the time. It's forever. It doesn't matter what year it was made. But the thing is, the best thing would be no book, like nothing. The Tao says nothing. People talk. You see, people think and talk, and you say, well, of course, we're alive. We need to think. Yeah, we do. A flower does what a flower does. A person does what a person. A fish and an elephant. We do what we do, okay? But what I'm saying is you have you have eyes, ears, whatever. We have 5 senses, yeah? And this is what we have. Some animals, some sea creatures or some insects don't have the same senses that we have, let alone the brain's capacity that we may have. But we are limited in terms of the overall, scope of the whole universe. So when it comes to studying science, physics, space, the universe, and all of these things, how much can we really understand? Not everything, right? So a fish simply lives as a fish, swimming in the water, a fish peacefully. Perfect as a fish. So we people can also do that. You don't have to understand God, the whole universe. I'm saying, like the high level. You are a human, is what I'm saying. You are a human. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. A tree has to be rooted in the ground, in the good soil. That's what keeps it alive anyway, right? So, being in that. So you have to, as long as you're like a tree and you're rooted within truth, you will be strong. If you take a tree and you put it in a building somewhere, it might not be good. It's out of the sunshine, right? Does it have enough water, soil? You know what I'm saying? This is why people live unhealthy and have a bad life, a lot of hardship. The truth is the truth. You have to work with the real truth, not what you think is true or people tell you it's your culture or your father's friend told you. No. The truth is really studying, observing. They say observing, listening and watching doesn't mean following. But if you are going to go somewhere, come back to the root of self, the foundation of all possibility within this existence of the universe, which you are part of, everything, and be ready to embrace like an empty shopping bag, which can carry lots of things. You can get maybe not all of it, but an abundance of the universe, which is bigger than you. You're a human, a person living within this world. We're all equal, but we're all individual. We're all limited, so therefore we've all got our own uniqueness. We've all got our own set of abilities. In some situations, those limitations are far more the opposite of limitations. And we can also gain and we can also develop. But you don't, unless you grow 10 arms and 2 heads, would that even be an improvement? You know what I mean? You are what you are. The idea of loss or gain, success or failure is in the human mind. See? I'm ahead of you. I'm behind you. I'm winning. I'm losing. That's the mind of a person. You don't need to fight everything and kill yourself that way. Everything is perfect when you're in the center. If I take one step ahead of myself, or one step behind myself in time and space, or above or below myself, I'm leaving myself. I am here now, not in the past. I came from the past, not in the future. I'm going to the future, but I'm only ever and only have always and only am existing now, here in the self, in what you have. Yeah? So, what is learning? If you think you're gaining more knowledge, you might gain more knowledge, but do you gain 2 brains? Just do what you can. Exercise well, rest well. This is a balance, right? Not too much, not too less of anything. The philosophy of the Tao is not just a philosophy, it's talking about real truth. If you take away one side, you can't have the other side. Makes sense, right? If you're trying to balance with things, and trying to wrestle it or try to make it, you can't do it. You can't force it. You can't squeeze bananas out of the apple tree. It won't work like that. You can't tell. You may tell millions of jokes. You may study the most different kinds of cooking from around the world, but you can't make someone laugh at your jokes or enjoy your food. If someone respects you, they respect you. If someone is interested, they'll be interested. The truth is how it is. There is no fight. It's just the way it is. So when you're very tired, ask yourself why. Don't look outside. Feel your body. What have I been doing? Whether you're walking up and down a mountain or whether you're walking up and down steps all day, you have been working with these legs, these muscles in your legs and bones. It's one body. So the truth is so close. The book is not far away. It's right here. When you look into your hands, in your fingers, everybody's finger has different fingerprints, right? Sometimes mine don't work very well when I'm doing like scanners and things I have to deal with in my life. Everybody has a different face. If every person was the same, and there are differences, different colours and things in the world. If everything looked the same, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. You wouldn't know where you're going as far as a human life goes. To be able to survive, to eat or drink. So that shows where the differences and the uses are and how to see yin and yang in all different things. But and understand how far where you're headed, where you come from. But look, okay, if every person, if all of us were the same, there would be no competition. There'd be no battle. They say life's competition and struggle. No, there would be no competition if we were all the same, because everybody would be the same. There'd be you, right? And if everybody is different, which we are, all of us are different, even identical twins and clones, really, because they're just different entities, right? Different people. In that way, there is no competition. The only competition there is with yourself. And why are you doing that? You're on a running track racing with someone and you think you've lapped the person, or that person's far ahead of you. Forget all that. You've exercised your body today. What was the point? What's the point of what you do every day? You need to ask yourself, what do you do? What is it that you are doing with your time? Why do you do it? Do you have a choice? Is it some forced torture, like some of these jobs and work that we have to do? But I'm saying, why do you think the way you do? What is that image? Could you live today and tomorrow without that coming into your mind? Can't you be free? Like Morpheus said to Neo in the Matrix movie, you need to let it all go, Neo. It's all an illusion. It's all a dream. You've been living in a dream world. He said, you need to wake up. Not because he's trying to teach you, I'm telling you to wake up. I know what's right. No. You need to feel it. You've got this heart here, this body. Look, if things are not going well in your job, for example, like myself sometimes, the same thing, then people may talk to you a certain way and tell you what you need to be doing and give you advice. If you're very tired or become sickly or very overexhausted, if you go to a doctor and tell them the story, maybe the doctor will say, you need to rest a bit. You're doing too much. It's bad for your health, right? Your body needs rest. But before you went into the doctors or the hospital, you know it. You knew it already. You could feel it in your body. You did it. You knew it. So like, I can go outside in the rain and someone can say, look, here's an umbrella. And they would be right. Very right. And they would be the one to fall back on. And I could ask them if I could borrow their umbrella if I didn't have anything. But we need to be intelligent with a mind and a strong mind and body. Not a weak mind, strong body, or strong body, weak mind. We need, the other way around. But it's like, the richness in wisdom before money. A rich man doesn't spend his money, right? But how about being rich with your time and your power and intelligence instead? So, before I go outside, I look out my window, or if I can look at the forecast, or I look outside the window even better, forget the forecast for a minute, and I look and see, is it raining today? I look at the weather, and I say, it's raining. I will take an umbrella, or I will not go out there if I don't need to until another time. See? Wisdom. So Laozi didn't say, read this book and eat my cake. He didn't say that, okay? He was saying, there's a lot more here that you will see or be able to experience if you come back to the truth of the root of things. Stop talking, stop thinking too much. You know what I mean? I'm talking because this is a video. In Chinese, they always say, and I bring this out in Chinese, it's better to be a good listener than a good speaker. But this is just in everything, your whole body, your whole life, not just mouth and ears. People are always talking too much. They're always trying to do everything. They're trying to be everywhere, win everything. They do what they want to, you know what I mean? And they're never happy. You don't stop. You must stop before you can go. Is it? Yeah? You must finish before you can start again. A new day every day, right? Yeah. I mean, you must start before you can finish. So if you're writing a book, you must start every time. You must, even if every day you do a little, so you can finish this book. I'm not saying run to the end of your life, work every day you're working, just earn more money, and then one day, yes, you're going to finish and you will be dead. But today, are you living is the thing. What you're in the story. Are you enjoying the movie as you're sitting in the cinema, as you're reading a book, as you're listening to the music, as you're listening to someone talk, as you're watching, as you paint a beautiful picture, as you're exercising, as you're sleeping, as you're eating, as you're alone, as you're with people. Everything you do, as you're reading or writing, playing a computer game, playing a sport, it's the experience. It should be a good feeling. If you've got a painful leg or a painful back, you're not going to have a good time lying on the beach, let alone playing basketball, maybe, right? But if you can look after yourself, you're going to feel good. But your body understands a lot. The body knows more than the mind sometimes. If the mind leaves the body, it means you're either crazy, dead, or you've gone to the spirit world of some kind. The mind and body are together. You need to stand on the ground. You can't be walking in the sky, right? Okay. So the truth is the truth. The truth sets you free, as God and Jesus said, right? And that's what Lao Tzu was talking about in the Tao Te Ching also. It was just a little message to the world. He didn't want to say too much. But really, the Tao says nothing. He even said that. He said, it does nothing and it leaves nothing unfinished. Do you know what I'm saying? They say you need to empty your cup, empty your mind, so you can learn new things. If something is on this chair, I can't sit on this chair. There's a chair here, okay? A chair. Okay? So you must realize, give yourself the chance. Open the door. Let go of the rubbish bags. Take them out of your house. Rest. Regenerate. Save time and energy. Build up your power. Sometimes bodybuilders and athletes are absolutely exhausted. They've got no power because they're very tired. They've done a lot. So they need to sleep. Everybody needs to sleep, right? Everybody needs to eat, right? And everybody needs to shit, right? Excuse my language. So you eat your food and you go to the toilet. You need to see things thoroughly. Try to see from many angles when you read a story from the beginning to the end. Or maybe read it again to understand even more. So you've got new days, you've got new chances over and over again in your life. Life is the story teaching you about the cycle and the flow of yin and yang. Life in a human form, as you exist in this yin yang universe. So here you are, and life is a journey. Every new day and every moment is teaching you renew. See, your skin is always growing new skin on your body. You wake up every day, it's a new day. You eat food, you go to the toilet. Yeah? When you walk, it's one step, then another step. Not just repeat like a robot, but I'm just saying, everything is teaching you. As you step forward, you learn about back. And as you step back, you learn about forward. As you move, you learn about stopping. The opposite. And as you stop, you learn about movement. Observing. Not focused, but awareness. There's people that do meditation and stuff, and they try to meditate to become peaceful. To me, it seems like a battle. They're trying to become peaceful. So they're still not totally relaxed, right? But it works different for different people, and there's different kinds of things that can be seen as meditation, like a more natural walking, thinking without talking in the mind, so to speak, the functionality of the mind awareness. Things, though, where you can become more aware and in tune, see, with things. But if you don't look after this body and be aware of this, what you have in mind and body, you can't be aware and connect with all things. And if you don't connect with nature and you only connect with the things that go against this, you can't exist in this life. You can't live as a human form, in this physical form, in this life. Yeah, it's broken down. It's like if something falls, something heavy, a big rock falls and damages a person's body and they lose a limb. It's the same with the mind. If you are, it's like you're shooting yourself in the mind almost. It's like you've got a mind here and you're like shooting this, boom, 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 shooting areas down in your mind. Now you've got less to work with. It's just, it's molded and shaped just to work for that, you know what I mean? It's like when you mold it's like someone who's making something with clay or someone who's carving a shape out of wood. And you say, oh, this is what this is. And that's all they know it as. Now, these are scissors, or this is a hammer or a screwdriver. And that's what it is. So there's no way we can do anything else. Like if you want to jam that door closed and the door's broken and you can't close the door and the wind's coming in, a smart person may take that tool, maybe a screwdriver or whatever, slide it under the door, and now maybe it's perfectly, the door will be jammed and it won't open. So you have to use things in different ways. You don't have a ladder, so you can't reach up high to get something, but you can stand on a chair, right? Yeah. You don't have a little table, so you can put your food on a chair and just sit and eat that. You know what I'm saying? There's different things you can. So it's teaching you to study. So artistically, visually, or audio, you have to be able to hear the spaces between things. That's what Lao spoke about, the spaces between things. To hear where there's a space. If someone's talking, going on and on and on, you'll be like, you don't get a chance to speak. You can't get a chance to say. So you need to listen for the space. Like when you're crossing the road, when you cross the street here, you need to wait when there's no cars. Maybe there's no traffic lights, but you need to make sure there's a good distance and it's safe to go if you are crossing on a country road or you don't measure, right? So this is the thing. You go where the opportunities are. And you don't try and manipulate things to harm others or harm yourself. But you do things to maybe create opportunities for you too. If you're too hot, open the window. You know what I mean? Yeah, simple. You can't see in the dark, turn on the light, right? If you know you've got a bad memory, give yourself a note or put something in a place that's obvious to remind yourself where it is. And if you want to remember things, repetition helps you remember things. Mind memory, muscle memory, Exercise, strength. If you do things the wrong way, you cause your body and mind harm. Body and mind. So you need to learn about yourself. Learn about the human and what's good for the human. So that way you save time and energy, and life is that. It's energy and time. Well, thank you for watching. It's a little video about the Tao. I've just talked about a few little things here, not a lot. I'm going to go now. I need to go and do some exercise. Okay. You take care of yourself. Thanks for watching.